Friends and fellow travelers, welcome back to the Journey Well as we do this pick a card reading that is rooted in the How to Create Light in the Dark Times from Oliver Tarot. This spread is inspired because, I just had this feeling of entering fall, entering winter, and the sun is blocked by clouds. There's darkness. It's a transitional time of metaphoric death. And within that, sometimes it's really hard to see the light. So for any of you who are feeling a little bit dull, feeling a little bit like there's a dip coming in your life, this is going to be particularly important for you. And for anyone else, we're going to have these times. So I really want you to understand and comprehend this from a perspective of, if not now, then when I have this moment, become aware of this. And so whatever resonates for you, please take it and leave whatever doesn't. This is a collective general reading, so I will direct your attention to the cards. This is group 1, 2, 3, and 4. Whatever is pulling at your heart, whatever is calling you, don't judge it. Don't try to figure out why. Just let your intuition tell you which deck, which pile is going to have the best message for you so that you can take the most empowered step forward. Okay, welcome group number 1 to your reading. We're going to get into the cards, but first I want to let you know that each position that the card is in has a specific meaning. So when we do it, we'll take it one at a time, and then we'll add a couple other cards at the end. But the first position right here is, what is the overriding force casting darkness on my life? Now this could be what is going to cast darkness on your life, or it's what is currently casting darkness on your life. And that first card is the High Priestess in reverse. She is wisdom. She is secret knowledge. She is the keeper of, that veil behind her. This is the guardianship of divine knowledge. You can't come to her and get access to all of that goodness without paying the price, without devotion, without studying, without giving yourself over to spiritual practice. And this being in reversed is giving me a sense that your spirit is going, your spiritual life, maybe is a better way to say it, is going to be the thing that casts darkness. There is doubt in your faith. There is anger with a spiritual realm, a blaming perhaps coming your way of, this is why, is because shaking my fist at God or whatever spirit or deity you might believe in or be struggling with in faith. Darkness can come in the spiritual world because results aren't being seen. And so I'm getting a strong message that things have been piling up, or things will be piling up, and they're causing you to lose faith. They're causing you to have this hopeless feeling of powerlessness, that there is no greater power that is protecting you, and now you're just cast in the wind and unloved. And I think it's rooted in spirituality. So let's keep going and see what else the message emerged, because I really feel like, as much as these are all in one position, there's probably an overarching meaning that we can tie all of this together, because there's never just one meaning. What can I do to minimize the effects of this darkness? In this, you have the Empress in reverse. The Empress is the mother of the tarot. So far, 2 major arcana characters, and this is not insignificant. It's not for nothing. They're both reversed. So again, we have this emergence of the feminine, the divine feminine here, the motherly energy. This is love. This is self-compassion. When it's reversed like this, it really means to mother yourself. And maybe part of this spiritual thing is the service that you feel is going unnoticed, this service that you might be getting taken advantage of. And so that motherly, compassionate energy might be flipping on its head, saying, I need to stop focusing on all the things outside of myself and come home here, because I need to compassion. I need to give that to myself. I need to love myself and do things that I need. And it might feel selfish from the spiritual perspective. There might even be a message, a literal message that someone has directly told to you or indirectly told to you, that selfishness is the opposite of spiritual height. But you need to be selfish isn't a bad word. You need to be selfish to be selfless. Those either polarities are not good. Totally selfless, totally selfish. self-centered, I would say, is more of the negative connotation of selfish, but you do need time. The way for you to shine a light in the darkness when the times get dark is to love yourself, because we have no guarantee that anything outside of ourselves will love us, to include a creator, to include source, spirit, God. There might be no evidence in your life that you are loved in these moments. That might be our perception. We might not see it. I've been there myself. And in those moments, the light that shines is the light that turns inward onto myself and finds something to love about me. I didn't care how small it is, and I don't care how small it is, but finding one thing, you made someone laugh, and that feeling of the heart fluttering and the joy is enough. Deciding that, hey, my hair looks good today is enough, but there's a shift that needs to occur for you to combat the darkness with your light, your inner light. This high priestess is inner light, intuition. It is mystical. This empress is calling you to go inside and find that. That's how you combat the darkness. Moving on, what is the greatest strength I have that I can use as a guiding light? Okay, so this is a strength. And you have the 8 of Pentacles. Okay, so I'll put that down. We have many strengths, okay? The greatest strength in this spread that it's saying you have is mastery, is apprenticeship, is digging in and doing the work. You know, this craftsman is creating pentacles. He's making coins, and he's doing really well. Like, we have a lot here, and it's even one down here. So there's 8 coins that he's working on. He's succeeding. He looks peaceful and content. His face is not stressed. His body is not in pain. He's chilling, you know, and he's happy. And so what that call is for you, your greatest strength, is to be able to find that happiness. Like I said, here is going inside of yourself and finding that way to mother and nurture yourself. This is how you do it, is you have that strength to cast out the darkness by finding something that you enjoy doing and then doing it when you want to go dark. I have seen people use crossword puzzles, Sudoku puzzles, riddles, anything. Like, it doesn't have to be this grand commercialized thing. It can be something for yourself that you have in a hobby way, but it's something that you're investing in and you're doing consistently. So finding consistency. This pentacle suit is slow. It is also physical manifestation, so it can be your body as well. There's a strong message of self-love through your physical self, self-love through exercise, self-love through that discipline of committing to a system and not doing it in a all out 110% way, but investing yourself to 8 could be 80%. There's an 80% rule, that says if you go 80%, you still have 20 left, so you're not going to burn yourself out. That's a really strong message that's coming through right now, is figure out how to do things at 80%. Forget 100%. Forget 110%, because those things are not sustainable. It's crap. It just sounds really good. And I go work out and I'm like, oh yeah, left it all on the floor and blood, sweat, and tears on the floor. But guess what? I worked out twice and then I was taking 2 months off because it sucked. Versus going 80% and consistently feeling like, I feel energized after this. You should feel energized. That's your strength, is doing something that allows you to feel energized after doing, and still has this other capacity to go and use the rest of your day to see it through light. That's how you usher in the light, is this 80% capacity, and not going 100%, not going 110% to desperately save the day, to desperately find the sun. How can I take the things that make me happy to shield myself from things that I cannot control? Temperance. That is absolutely phenomenal. That literally is, this position is literally, I could call it the temperance position. How do I take the things that I like and love and use them to prevent the darkness, to create this sense of balance where I don't have control, but I'm shielded from that anxiety, that fear of losing control. There's all this stuff going on around this person, but they're focused on the balance. This person loves doing what they're doing. They're dipped in both the spiritual world of the High Priestess, as well as the earthly realm, which is the Empress. So how perfect is that? I mean, they're flipped, so I'm not going to totally have this accurate, but there and there. This is going to be a huge thing for you, is this spiritual journey, and you're going to manifest it through loving yourself and through, consistently putting 80% effort into things, into something you enjoy. And that temperance is that 80%. Temperance is not 110%. Temperance is not just white knuckling something into submission so that you are happy. It will not work for more than a couple days. It will not work. You will have a burnout period. We all do. So it is no measure of your goodness and health to burn yourself out for like 2 months, have some result, and then just be dead inside. It is a measure of your good health to engage in temperance, to control the controllable, and the controllable is engaging consistently in something you enjoy in a healthy way. What are the positive aspects of your life that can keep your inner light burning bright? The Knight of Pentacles. So this is slow moving again. This is taking action though. So this is taking action on that physical, on this card. So what you can do to keep that inner light, burning bright, that inner light fueled, is the Knight of Pentacles, which means slow, deliberate action in the physical world. This is not completely mental. This, if it's a mental process, it started outside yourself. Like I said about, crossword puzzles. It can be simple like that, where it's something that you see outside yourself, a puzzle, and then you go inside and you process it and you think about it and you write down the answer. It can be that. But this really speaks to taking physical action towards this mastery. This is how you keep it burning bright. But the key in it is not even the physical manifestation that is in the physical world. It's the speed of the pentacle suit. The speed of the pentacles is the slowest. This horse has all 4 hooves on the ground. I'm assuming, because I can't see its rear. But I don't think there's any funky, weird stuff in the back. I think that all 4 are it's very stable, looking out over the land, very calm, not rushing into battle. 80% effort, not 110. What is the greatest thing about your happy self? How beautiful is that? The 3 of Cups. This is all about celebration with people you care about. When you are at your happiest self, you are a joy to be around and you enjoy being around others. When you are not, when you're over here and it gets dark because you're hopeless, you're feeling helpless, you don't want to be around anyone. You will resist. So we have this really interesting bookend, right? I feel helpless, I feel hopeless, I feel unloved. My highest good, my highest desire, when I'm at my happiest self, I am loved and I love. I celebrate with my friends and family. I celebrate with those that I care about. The path to getting there is first loving yourself. You can't love other people if you don't first love yourself. If you're not filling up your own cup through this temperance balance of 80% effort into things that you love and taking slow, consistent action, you will not have the balance. You will burn out. And instead of getting here where you're happy, oh no, I fell back here. Shoot. Because I burned out and I wasn't appreciated and people don't really like me and there is no God and I'm helpless and oh, woe is me. Dang it. Now you're back stuck here trying to reconnect in a healthy way to your spiritual self. The path is clear. Really find what you love and do it and figure out how to convince yourself to find something that you love about yourself. Because there's plenty to love. Okay? You just have to start finding simple things. It's not easy to love yourself completely. I'm still working on it for 10 years, but I finally am close. But it was little moments of self-love that I found to be able to look at myself in the mirror and tell myself certain little details that, man, that's great about you. I love that about you. Sometimes I didn't believe it, but eventually I did because I saw it and I put my mind to it and I focused on it and then I found it in my life. Same as like going out and like saying, hey, I like the Toyota whatever. And then all of a sudden you see Toyotas everywhere on the road, feeling like getting a start and an end, kind of like this bookend thing here I really enjoyed. So we're going to bookend it a little bit further with some, whoa, ooh. Did you want 3? Okay, we'll do 3. Who am I to argue? We have the salamander, which is inspiration. So this can match right here. Inspiration. What does inspire you? That's the reaffirming card on here, is what inspires you. And then go to it. Something does. Something, and please don't judge it. Don't judge what this thing is, because it's inspiring you for a reason. It's inspiring you because you need it to move and make other moves in your life. I don't care what other people think of it. You know, I think you need to be honest with yourself and not go ask other people. Like, these friends even might not understand it, but they will understand if you engage in it and you love yourself and you're balanced, taking, you know, measured action, that you are back and that you are happy, and they'll be happy because they can celebrate with you again. The rooster and the sunflower is communication. All right, so we'll put that by old buddies over here, right? The communication. You have to communicate with yourself. You know, the self-love. You have to communicate with your God, with your spirit, and in a way that you're saying, I'm no longer a victim. I get that. I'm taking ownership into my life. I'm going to put myself into a position to receive whatever blessing I can have. So it's my physical action and effort in this world. I'm communicating clear messages to myself that I'm inspired and I'm balanced. And then I'm communicating that I need my friendships back. I need my happiness back. I need my party joy, whatever, back. And I'm going to communicate to those people this journey I'm on. Not in a victim way, but be honest and say I'm struggling. Because when you communicate to those people that have your back, they might be able to help reflect and help you self-mother. Because in tribes, you know, it wasn't just one woman that was the mother. It was multiple. You know, it takes a village to raise a baby. Like, that's very much the fostering of your darkness, and breaking into the light is, you know, bringing and communicating needs to other people who can help you, not in a victim mentality, but in a, hey, I'm struggling here. I need help. And the last card, the raccoon and sycamore, curiosity. This really partners with this whole thing here. And with the Eight of Pentacles, curiosity and inspiration. Curiosity leads to inspiration. Inspiration leads to curiosity. It's a very, you know, infinite symbol thing where who's chasing what tail? And it's a cycle. So if you're inspired, get curious. If you're curious about something, see if it inspires you. That's the path that you need to be on. So hopefully there's something here that resonates with you. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel so I can see you in the next one. And until next time, journey well, my friends. Group number 2, welcome to your reading. To remind you, this is all about, you know, if you're in a dark time right now, you're feeling that dip of emotional, spiritual health. This is how you can bring forth your inner light. And if it's not that way right now, when the darkness does come, because you're a human being and it will come, this is how you can keep fueling your inner light. So let's take a look at the cards. Each card has a specific position with a specific meaning. And the first card, what is the overriding force that's casting darkness into your life? The 10 of Pentacles. In reverse, I should mention. Okay, so there is a fear, there's a scarcity mindset that casts a doubt, that casts fear into your life, that casts darkness. This idea of not having enough material possessions, not having enough wealth, whether that be of intellect or financial wealth. There is a sense of not having enough that, you know, jumps forward here. So that's going to cast over the darkness for the rest of these cards. Just think about, where do you have a scarcity mindset? This can be physical health too. This can be your athletic journey. This can be your exercise, your physical health, anything like that. You feel that there is not enough and there is little hope. That's what I'm getting from this card. And what can I do? What can you do to minimize the effects of this darkness? Temperance. So I love that, because temperance is balance. If you have a scarcity mindset, and especially if it's in the physical world, like, you know, I'm not saying diet. I'm just saying enjoying things in life, whether it's alcohol, food, leisure, rest, sleep, whatever things you enjoy in life in the physical world, it has to be done in moderation. And if you don't have moderation in those things, it's going to foster a scarcity mindset, because you're never going to feel like you have enough or you have control or power. The other message I'm getting here is this frog is temperance, but it's also tempted. So temperance and tempted are very similar. Tempted is going to make this frog start to eat. I mean, it's looking right at these bees, ready to, I think they're bees, ready to eat them. Like, that looks good. But if this frog does that, going to create a scarcity mindset, going to eat the wealth and use it for their own enjoyment instead of for the betterment of the hive, for the pollination, the creation of fruited plants. It's going to be all just for my own appetite. So there's this real sense that the darkness needs to be combated with your temperance, with not consuming. And I don't mean just food. I mean consuming television, consuming entertainment, consuming things that distract you from growth. And what is the greatest strength that you have that you can use as a guiding light? Judgment. You know what's right and what's wrong, what's good for you, what's bad for you. You just need to be honest with it and take action on it. That is your great strength. The problem is, if you have a scarcity mindset, and I say it's scarcity because this is reversed, your judgments are not going to be fair. You're not going to be able to shed the old and move into the new like the snake is doing because it realized it outgrew this way of being. Your greatest strength is to realize that this temperance is not about overconsumption of whatever. It's not about avoidance. It's about balance. And you need to develop, you have this strength. You might be using the judgment to judge yourself too harshly, and that prevents growth and change and transformation. So there's a softening of that needs to occur through balance and temperance and being in moderation in whatever it is that you're consuming. Okay, so now how do you take things that make you happy and use them as a shield against things that you can't control? The King of Swords is a card of mental balance, of mastery of the mental landscape. So you take the things that you enjoy, all of this stuff that, temperance says you want to consume, but you really enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with enjoying. We need to enjoy things in life, but we just need to have balance. And the King of Swords is that mental clarity to say, I'm judging this. I'm going to enjoy this, but I'm going to stop because the time to stop is here. If I go further, I'm now overindulging. I am now going to create scarcity because I overconsumed. I overinvested time into this thing, so now I have less time here, and now I feel out of control because I don't have the time to make the changes I need to make, so this area is in chaos because I gave all of this time to this thing that I enjoyed. The King of Swords will not do that. The King of Swords is a master. So your mind is saying, I know what I enjoy. I know how to enjoy it within reason and within balance with temperance. I know how to judge that temperance versus overindulgence versus underutilizing and move forward. So that's the mental space you need to embrace that you have. Because right now, based on this first card, you don't feel that you have it, even though this is Spirit's way of saying you do. You do have it, and you know you do, because anytime you see a moon in a card, it's intuition. These flowering plants are healthy because these bees of abundance have pollinated them. And what are the positive elements of your life that can fuel your inner light during dark times? Another sword card, the Eight of Swords. The positive aspect, we again have this moon, and we have the same owl. So the king is here, but the king has counsel. These swords, Eight of Swords, is really about being imprisoned, but only by your own design. So the positive aspects of your life that this is telling me is that you're not alone. You do have friendship. You do have accountability. You have people you can bring issues to that can help you get on the right track. And you also recognize that you are your own worst enemy, that you are the one who is imprisoning yourself and can also free yourself. But you might need that community, because I get the sense that you're a social person. But if you utilize your social circles in a way that keeps you feeling scarce and overindulging and not enacting temperance, then we have a problem. Then you have a problem. And what is the greatest thing about your happy self? So when you're at your highest, the King of Wands. Look at that. We got some king energy right here. This is good. King, we've got a couple of major arcana cards. Those are powerful cards, very archetypal. But the King of Wands is your happiest self. Now, the King of Wands is passion. The King of Wands is creativity, is adaptability. the really cool message here is that it is tying all of this together. This up here is mirrored in why this card is here. Your highest self, your happiest self, is creative and passionate. Passion, left uncontrolled, leads to overindulgence, leads to scarcity mindset. So you can see why this is your happiest self, but right now, the reason that you're having the shadow come in, the dark times come in, is because this passion can be leading you or is leading you down a path of scarcity, not of enlightenment, not of empowerment, not of health. And if you make that shift through these mental clarity to make the decisions in the Eight of Swords, which is saying, I'm imprisoning myself here, I can get out. I just probably need to lean into my own understanding as well as bring that to some people I trust to help me fly out of this hole and then reconnect with my passions, because that's when I'm truly happy, is when I am creating, when I am leading, when I am letting my passions lead me in the most healthy and empowered way possible. Let's see what we have. Just give me a couple more cards because I want to bring some more animal energy in. Where do I need this? This is telling me to connect it to what card? To the Eight of Swords. Okay, one more. And tell me where you need me to put it. Oh, it's telling me to go to King of Swords. Okay. So first, let's flip this. Raccoon. Curiosity. It's a cute little raccoon, right? Yeah, we like that raccoon. Connected to the Eight of Swords. It's not necessarily connected to this, but curiosity is, to me, in this context, seeing things from a new perspective. If you are curious, you'll look up. So instead of looking down where the swords have you imprisoned, Raccoon says, well, let's look up. Let's see what's up here. And you're like, holy crap, that's beautiful up there. Let's fly up there. So freeing yourself, getting curious about ways to climb out and to find new passions and creativity that, your true passions lie in. Get curious. Let's climb around the branches and see what's out there to discover. The Mouse and Buttercup, innocence. Now, what this tells me on the King of Swords here is the King of Swords can be a slasher. A knife, a sword is a bladed object that can be offensive, and it's fast, it's quick, it's the fastest suit in the deck. Mouse is saying, use it, but bring a sense of innocence. This King of Wands isn't an innocent card, but passion, new growth is innocence. So bringing this energy into the King of Swords is the act of innocence, is bringing the heart to the sword, the heart to the steel. So that's a really good message for what you can do to help take and make sure that this King of Swords energy, this decisiveness, this clarity, that you will allow yourself to have clear judgment on, to look at where you're overindulging a bit and your passions are leading you astray. That innocence is going to help you be a little bit kinder to yourself, so you're not so slashy, so that the hand is slow and it's balanced in thought and wisdom, and that your crown is truly on your head because you are the wise one, not the dictator, not the tyrant. So hopefully there's some information in there that is meaningful to you. If you enjoyed this, I encourage you to like the video and to subscribe to the channel so you can catch me in the next one, so I can catch you in the next ones, and join me in this Journey Well experience. And until next time, journey well, my friends. Group number 3, welcome to your reading. Each card has a specific position, which is attached to a specific meaning. So we'll go one at a time and see what message Spirit has for you. So first we have, what is the overriding force that is creating darkness in my life, or will be threatening to create darkness in my life? We have the King of Pentacles, which is interesting because in his most highest self, this is a master of the physical world. This is a master of his body, a master of her business. This also means abundance. We have all this fruiting like grapes all around. There's foliage and green. I mean, this is abundance. This is a kingdom. But the shadow cast with the King of Pentacles, to me, is speaking tyrant. That the shadow comes out when you feel disrespected, not appreciated, unloved. When you feel this urge to lash out because you feel insecure, You feel like you are lacking, that you aren't the master of your domain, that you don't have everything together, because typically it's related to what others are doing and how they are presenting themselves to you. Now, what can you do to minimize the effects of that darkness? The Hierophant. So what this is saying here, the Hierophant is, is wisdom, is knowledge, is seeking knowledge and becoming, a student of whatever it is that you're into. I don't necessarily have a feeling about this being a profession, this being a religion. This is very much a religious card, but I think of it as indoctrination and going and getting the book. This is studying the Torah, studying the Bible, studying the Hermetica, That's the religious aspect, the spiritual aspect, but it's not the intuition. It's not the divine mysticism. This isn't a Sufi. This isn't the Kabbalah. This is mainstream intellect, collegiate level, just analytical study. And when I look at this, how can you combat it? What can you do to minimize? If you're being tyrannical, if you're feeling less than, instead of attacking the world around you, go read, go learn something. Further your, if you did this because someone doubted you, you're doing a job, and then someone smarter than you comes along and starts proving to you why you're wrong, why you don't know everything, and you get mad about that because you feel threatened, go and get the information you need. This isn't because you have to come back and make yourself better than this person. This is about you getting triggered, and then realizing the only way to minimize this depression shadow, this lashing out, this potential conflict that is born out of not healthy places, is to go and figure out what information you need so that you can grow, not so that you can go and dominate. And what is the greatest strength you have as a guiding light for this process? The Eight of Swords. This is wild because this has come up in 2 of the 3 readings so far. Or has it come up in all of them? Okay. So this card is a self-imprisoned person. This, you can see this little puddle of water that exists. That's intuition. That's the inner wisdom, but it's drying out so much. So she's left wrapped, blindfolded with all these swords around her. And unfortunately, what she doesn't realize is that she can slip these. These are not tightly wound, but she doesn't have the wisdom. She doesn't have the intuition and the knowledge to know. So this strength is, that you can free yourself. You just have to do it. But when you're in a place of, shadow, where you're triggered, you almost don't want to do this. You want to put yourself here, but you do it. And so what you have to do is start to go out and get the knowledge so that you can free yourself. How can I take the things that make me happy and use them as a shield to prevent some of this shadow from even happening? 2 of Swords. Well, we don't know. We're going to have to pull 2 more cards. How about that? Put these back aside because I don't think there's any other 2 of Swords in this deck. We have the Star and the 2 of Cups reverse. Okay, so this answers this, which is related to this. We have the 2 of Cups in reverse and the Star. So this to me is vulnerability. I mean, this person's naked and they're, filling up, pouring into their soul. They're pouring into their world. This is the unconscious mind. This is a conscious mind. This is balance between, the literal academic world and the spiritual, waters here that haven't filled, but they're right here. Like, this is all behind her. It's all the wisdom and intuition that she has, that she actually does know. This moon of intuition is on the side of the Star card. It's not over here. So one hand we have intuition, we have complete balance and vulnerability. Vulnerability is the key to this. If you were vulnerable in a very strong and healthy way, you would understand that when things come up against you that might be offensive to you now, they wouldn't be offensive. They would just be information. And you wouldn't imprison yourself. You would use that information to decide if you needed to go study, if those people were wrong, but it would be in a way that wasn't emotionally involved. This being in reverse is telling me that you have an issue with relating to people, because this is about deep connection, like meaningful, heart-centered connection, which is only possible through vulnerability. So taking the things that make you happy is going to be a vulnerable thing for you. There might be things that you're not really proud of or you're embarrassed by, but you're going to have to connect with those things and be honest about them. And when you do that, find relationships that aren't going to judge you for them. So it might be a shakeup that occurs, but if you can find the people that understand your truth in a vulnerable sense, and this gets righted, you are going to have such confidence that when the shakeups come, that darkness won't be nearly as long, it won't be nearly as dark, and it won't be nearly as often. But right now you're kind of without those relationships. So getting real and pursuing things that you love will help you find the people that will be able to support you in a deep, meaningful way that will allow you to continue on a path to growth versus this not scarcity, but this reactive place of trying to protect what is yours, because if you were to lose it, you fear there's nothing else for you. And what are the positive aspects of your life that can keep your inner light burning bright? You're a hard worker. You are a very hard worker. You're dedicated. You're loyal. Unfortunately, to a fault at times, I think you can overwork yourself. So the positive aspect of yourself that can keep your light burning is that you have energy, you have dedication, and if you dedicate to the right things that you're passionate about and lead to growth, you will be able to sustain the dark periods. I mean, wood, like the wand is made of wood. What burns? Wood. You have everything you need. In your hard work, it's just you have to work hard for the right things that lead to passion, that lead to growth and generativity and healthy relationships. And what is the greatest thing about your happy self? The Emperor in reverse. This is it's not exactly how I imagined it, but the first message I got, this isn't exactly true, but the message I got was how bookended this is. And it's funny because this is upright, and it's supposed to be what casts a shadow, and this is a positive card. And this is the highest, happiest self, but it's in reverse, and this is a positive card. So when I look at it, I see the reverse of this being the father of the tarot deck, but you being the father of yourself. So there's this element that when you're happiest, you're able to take care of yourself. You're a hard worker, yes. Maybe you don't have the relationships in your life, yes. But what has sustained you is your ability to connect with yourself. And if that's not resonating with you, it is within you to take care of yourself, to father yourself. And to father yourself is to be assertive, is to say, no, that's bullshit. I'm going to call you on it. You can do better. That wasn't the best. You're being overreactive. Like, you can discipline yourself. And through that self-discipline, you can foster self-love. And that's what we're talking about here, is this shadow of I need things to be a certain way in my kingdom. And if they're not, I will rage. And I will be stuck in my own prison, that I'm done in my own design. But in reality, I'm just a really hard worker. I'm just working hard for the wrong thing sometimes when I get all worked up. But I have all of that I need to, be the healthiest, most balanced person I can be. But I have to get vulnerable, and I have to find those people who accept me for my vulnerable true self when I'm raw and open. But I first have to, connect with that when I am at my happiest. I don't need a ton of relationship. Not that you're independent or that you're completely an introvert, but I get that sense that there is some introversion that is when you're at your happiest self, you're content to be alone. You don't need this. So that's the really strong ending of the message, is when you're happiest, you don't need or require anyone else to make you happy. And when you're that way, this King of Pentacles is sitting on his throne, completely balanced in appreciation for all that he has because he's living his best life. Let me pull a couple cards to close this one out. This one. All right, let's see what they say. Darkness. The butterfly and the snowdrop. In your darkness, you need hope. This beautiful butterfly had to go through quite an experience to become what it is. There was isolation. There was, like I said here with this isolation, fathering yourself, that darkness is a call to go inside self and to do the transformational work. Because sometimes transformation is only possible in isolation, but not in avoidance. And in the light, we have the quail and the gooseberry, which is anticipation. So when I think of anticipation, I think of excitement. I think of anxiety as well on the shadow side, but excitement and anxiety are so close to each other. It's just what is our focus. So I think what we're seeing here is I see you at your highest self in your light being like having great anticipation and great excitement to learn and to free yourself and to share from your truth and to work in a way that brings you great joy. So you have hope in the darkness. That hope is through vulnerable, authentic expression and being content and calm if no one else is here to support you, that you are enough to support yourself. It's within you, whether you believe it or not, it is. And when you do that and get really vulnerable and honest, you won't have to even be alone because people will want to be there to support you and you'll know who those people are. So hopefully there's something meaningful and actionable in this spread. And if it was, please like the video and subscribe because I'd like to see you in the next one as we continue on this journey. So until next time, journey well, my friends. Group number 4, welcome to your reading. Each card in this spread of darkness and light has a specific purpose, so we'll go one at a time and see what the message is for you. First, this is what's going to be casting the most shadow and darkness over your life, or currently is. The Son of Pentacles. So the sense that I get from that is new opportunity. And this darkness wouldn't sound like it would attach to new opportunity, but new opportunity can be overwhelming. And this might be because you haven't gained mastery or you're gaining mastery in one area of your life. And now there is this new opportunity that's pulling you towards it. But then as you do that, you feel this uncertainty as well as you see things slipping and falling in this one area that you had confidence in. So I think there's a sense in you that I'm getting where you might start too many new projects. You might say yes too much. And so in that new presentation of something, you saying yes is casting multiple shadows, because when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something. But when you say no to something, you're saying yes to something else. So you're always making decisions, but I'm really getting the sense that your shadow, your darkness, is cast by bringing in all of these clouds of new ideas and new opportunity that overshadow the goodness that you're creating. What can you do to minimize the effects of those shadows? And that is the 8 of Pentacles. So, okay. And it's in reverse. We got a couple of pentacles here, huh? So what this says, first off, is slow. This is about slow movement. This is about the long game. So these new opportunities that come into your life aren't just quick, like, hey, do you want to go out and grab dinner with friends tonight? And you say yes. Like, that's not the shadow. The shadow is new things that are going to take you months. Like, hey, would you like to do this thing, this presentation? You know, and then you say, yeah, that'd be great. And then you realize it's going to take 2 months of your life to prepare for it. And that all of a sudden you didn't plan for all this time, things like that, where it's investing and requiring more time than you anticipated. This 8 of Pentacles, the way that you through mastery can, limit these shadows is by staying true to the things that you love and really doubling down on those. And then really committing to weaving this web, whatever you're working on, not starting a new web, but continuing to build this thing that you're building that you're already passionately connected to, and not worry about the opportunities that come as if they're going to cause you to miss out on something. The greatest guiding strength that you have, that you can use the light to navigate these darkness and these dark times that are lying ahead or are approaching already, is the 7 of Cups. The strength, it's an interesting card because this traditionally is a card of overwhelm, and it's about a lot of ideas, a lot of emotional feelings. The inversion of this is telling me a neat story because we just were talking about new opportunities, doubling down and just staying focused on what you have. But the strength here is, Now, I'll show it to you the way I see it because it'll make it a little easier to understand what I'm saying. So here's upright. You have 6 cups up, 1 cup down, inverted. But when it's this way, there's 6 cups pouring out and 1 cup is staying full. This, you have the moon on top, sun on bottom. This is sun on top, moon on bottom. So this is saying feeling. This is saying logic to me. This is vitality. This is mystery. This is the conscious. This is the unconscious. And the fact that the cup is upright and it's only one, it is reinforcing that your strength is to choose the one thing that's going to net you the greatest reward, that's going to weave you the best web. I mean, this sun and these little spindles of the sun, you could think of it as this spider with all the webs. Like, these are all the things, all of your efforts are funneling into one thing, and that's going to make such a bright light instead of all of this, which is diffuse and it's little light, but it's just all over the place. This one cup is saying one thing, right? All the other things, they're fine, they're great, they're not worthless efforts, they're not something that you should be offended was even presented to you, but you know what it's going to lead to. It's going to lead to pouring out all of these cups. It's going to be a waste. So focus on the one cup that you have. That's your strength, is knowing emotionally, from an emotional, visceral place. If you chase the thing, there's this feeling of like, oh, I'm going to miss out. But there's also a knowledge that you have. The sun is knowledge. You know this from past experience. If you follow that inkling of excitement to this new path, it's going to be sketchy. It's not going to take you where you think you need to go. And it's not going to get you as high and elevated and happy and close to purpose as it is if you just focus on the one cup and wove this beautiful web. So how can you take the things that make you happy and use them as a shield to protect you from the things that you cannot control? The Empress. Hello, Mother. This is the Mother of the Tarot deck. So the way you can take the things that you enjoy and use them to shield yourself from things you can't control is to be your own mother. And that sounds weird, but what it means to me is, think about a child. You know, they feel they can't control their world, and what do? They run to mother or father. I'm not saying whoever is providing the most security and nurturing, because it's a nurture, compassion, safe space to go. That's why we, think of the feminine as the place that people will go to when they feel scared. So when they're overwhelmed, when you feel loss of control, going inside and realizing that you can mother yourself or connect to an energy like that is able to say, hey, take a breath. But this is really speaking to what you can do with the things that you love. So it's really building this tree, this thing that has all of the stuff that you enjoy, so that when these moments come where you have opportunity and you feel the feeling like you can't control yes or no, take a beat and go and connect with these things that you love and are passionate about, the things that you enjoy. Add some more of those things, and then let those be the breast in which you suckle and feed from, instead of the fear of chaos and FOMO and all of those things that make you feel left out. Because nurturing yourself through the things that you enjoy does not require other people. That's what I'll say, is it doesn't require you to have other people's opinions. This requires you to know what you like, know what you enjoy, and go to that for a time, not to avoid the decisions, not to avoid the loss of control, but to distance yourself from it for a few minutes, for a beat, so that you can bring your healthiest, compassionate self back to the decision of what cup to pursue, and you can find the one that's going to create the best value for you. What are the positive aspects of your life that you can use to fuel your inner light and keep it burning bright? Mother. Another mother. This one's a Mother of Cups, reversed. Look at that. Is that the cup? Is this the cup that they're talking about? Yeah, I think it is. When this is inverted, I think of it as going inside. In this spread, it means mothering yourself. I just talked about the Empress and mothering yourself. But this is about fueling your own emotional well. This is about connecting with your emotions, understanding what they're trying to tell you, and then doing something about it in a compassionate way, not like a man up way, not like a, if your lip quivers, I'm going to take the belt to you, like, this is not domineering. This is compassionate. This is hearing and listening, so that you can remove the shame that's wrapped around your heart that is causing the shadow, that, is keeping you from just focusing on mastery and taking all of these opportunities that cast a shadow, taking all of the 6 cups instead of the 1. And you at your highest, happiest self is the 9 of Wands. I can tell that you are a hard worker. I mean, it is not easy to weave this web. It is not easy to build this sense of self-compassion or a tree. You know, this is a beautifully constructed little, it looks like stairs, but it also, well, from my perspective, it looks like stairs. From your perspective, it almost looks like a trap, like this intuition is trapped here. But at any rate, what it tells me is that you're a hard worker. You're also tired, but you also have this ability when you're happy and content to realize and recognize you've been going too hard and you need to scale it back and mother yourself. These two things right here, strong message of self-compassion and self-care. That is your highest, happiest self. When you're in that space, you are not afraid of it. You recognize that you are ascending into that intuition. These are the steps, on my perspective, that take you up to that moon. We got the moon here and the moon here, yes, and we have the moon here. There's 3 moons. This is a 4th one. The 4th moon is balance. So if we have 4 moons, it means it's balance. If there was 3, it could be a little unsteady, and maybe we lean towards this moon and this moon. But because there's 4, I'm saying we have this good balance. It's healthy. So you climb up, and if you want to look at it this way, you climb out of your self-imprisonment, but you do it through this recognition of fatigue, that you've worked hard, but you know to slow it down. But when you're not happy, you will grind yourself into a pulp. You will take on every new opportunity. Even though these cups are poured out, you'll take on any, I don't care what the emotion is. I'm doing it because I'm a hard worker and this is my identity. That's not your highest self. That's where shadow comes in. To bring the light, you've got to admit that you're tired. You've got to admit to yourself that you need a rest. And you need to take care of yourself and focus on one thing that fills up your 1 cup. Because without that 1 cup, which is your heart and your soul and your passion and your drive and your health, I don't care what the rest of the cups are filled with or not filled with. Because that 1 cup matters more than any of them. So focus on that inner being. Focus on that mothering that heart in yourself so that that overflow of that cup can fill up the other cups. Because out of that abundance, goodness will flow. And even when you're overflowing, you've got to take a pause. Because if it's too fast, you will burn out and spill everywhere. And you'll lash out. So it's really slow, but really focused. Less slow, more focus. Just 1, okay. Sure thing. The butterfly. This came up in the last one, and it's hope. I put it here for no reason. But the reason that I'm getting now is there was a reason. This butterfly is flying up in hope to this 1 cup. This is the most important part of your whole reading. 1 cup. Not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 2. 1 cup. Fill up your emotional cup. Feel your emotions. Love yourself. These are all ways to do everything except for this is the way to get this cup filled. But you need hope. You need belief that this is where you need to go, even though it might be in contradiction to the way you've done things in the past. To go in and to become selfish, to self-care, not self-centered, is maybe in contrast to what you've been told is right and good and what you've done. But what you've done in the past has cast shadow. It casts darkness. It's a cycle for you. The way to break it is hope and focus on 1 cup, your spirit, your soul, your well-being. Because without that, I don't care what you do, you're just bleeding all over everybody. So focus in on that and find ways that you can do it. And you will find in time, saying no to things is going to be one of the greatest things you can do. So hopefully there's something actionable in there and it was meaningful. If it was and you enjoyed this reading, even though it's not maybe always friendly, cuddly stuff, confronting sometimes because that's life, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so I can see you in the next one, because this Journey Well experience is all about bringing a sense of ease and surrender that we're not fighting anything here. We're saying, what do you have for me? And I will take what I can, and I'll leave what I cannot take. But I'm doing this on a daily basis, because if I don't come to this well every day or every week, the well will run dry, and I'll feel alone, and I'll have nothing to drink and fill up any cups whatsoever. So until next time, journey well, my friends.